this is what they do. This is, you know, they'll do it with plausible deniability, and all the people that they want to know, and they clearly do, and they're celebrating it. And all the young, impressionable kids that watch this kids movie will get the message.
Oof, wow. So what exactly is the message here? That trans people exist? That non-binary people exist? Because again, you'd only see this as a problem if you hate trans people.
Everyone, Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. You know how Disney is constantly telling us that they don't have any kind of weird agendas and that they're not trying to formulate the minds of youth with any particular ideology, and that if youth...
That's no. When does Disney say this? Is that like a regular thing? Disney just pops up and they're like, hey, by the way, we just want to let you know we're not trying to formulate the minds of youth or push any radical ideology. So say it, Disney. Statements released.
Think that you're actually insane. You're a crazy person. That's what Disney says, and that's what those who are proponents of this say in an effort to gaslight you into apathy, to shame you, to make you think, oh, am I the one? Maybe I'm being a jerk. Maybe I'm the lunatic. But that's not exactly true. See, we have a new movie coming out here called Inside Out 2. And Disney wants you to know, apparently, that the 11-year-old in this movie, you know, pre any of the changes that happen to kids as they become adults, the 11-year-old is non-binary.
You would only see this as indoctrination if you believe that people can be convinced to become trans. That's it. That's the only reason you'd be like, well, Disney says they're not trying to push anything on our youth. They say they're not trying to indoctrinate kids, and yet trans people exist. And yet there's a character who's non-binary. Yeah, there's non-binary kids. They exist. That's adorable that there's going to be a movie that shows representation of them. Pretty much the end of it in terms of what my opinions on a child's cartoon are, you know? Because again, maybe it's one of those things where, hey, Quartering, maybe you're not the target audience. Maybe this one wasn't intended for you. Maybe this is intended for both kids, and if it's one of those movies that's, you know, the modern style, it's going to be entertaining for parents as well. There'll be some jokes that maybe, you know, cross over between the generational gap and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, that's all there is to it.
I don't know how many times we can teach this to them, old man, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it by you leaving a like on this video, and if you haven't yet, subscribe or follow down below. And we're going to...
Sorry, is Disney the old man? Or are you referring to yourself as the old man?
Get in the story after a super quick word from this video sponsor. Private
old man.
Well, they won't confirm it because this is like phase 1. Phase 1 is you float it and you have plausible deniability. Then phase 2 is like when you have,
Sorry, this is indoctrination, even though it's not even overtly mentioned, but somehow it's indoctrination. How can you pretend that you hate Disney? Where would you be without Disney? You need Disney so bad. Like, Disney is your meal ticket on a regular basis. It's like, well, there's a hinting that a character might be non-binary. So... Disney, once again, indoctrinating. Inside Out 2's teaser trailer hints at Riley being non-binary and gender fluid, supporting a popular theory that arose from the ending of the first movie. The new character's anxiety in Inside Out supports the theory with an androgynous voice, gender-neutral appearance, and clothing that matches queer non-binary fashion trends. Disney likely won't confirm his gender identity due to concerns about backlash and a potential impact on ticket sales, despite the hints from Inside Out in the sequel's trailer.
Lightyear.
Again, like, I don't... What can people do to fake please you? Because this is a fake problem, you know, for people who want fake outrage. So on the fake outrage front, right now, this is happening, and you're like, well, you know, Disney says they don't indoctrinate kids, but yet they have a character they want you to know is non-binary. And then it's like, wait, apparently it's not in the trailer. The character's not like, I'm proudly non-binary. Or, I'm non-binary. Or, hey, this is my non-binary friend. Or, hey, I use they, them pronouns. None of that.
where you have two women in a relationship who bought babies and kissing on screen, right? The teaser trailer for Inside Out 2 seems to support a
Again, like, how precious is your life that that's something that needs to upset you? What does that have to do with you? Why do you care? Okay, so it's a cartoon movie for kids, one that you didn't have interest in watching. It's not even one of those beloved franchises you're obsessed with because my boobies. None of that shit. It's just like, okay, so yeah, lesbians exist and they were in a movie. Yeah, because again, lesbians exist. There's families where there's two mummies. Why is this a problem? Like, I could see maybe if like the entire plot evolved around like the acceptance of queer folk, where it's just like from start to finish, that's the lesson learned and that's what everyone kind of comes to terms with. And then you could actually make an argument, okay, so there was a lesson, or at least there was something they were trying to teach you. And in this case, it was indoctrinate. But in this case, it's just them existing as characters. Just their very existence alone fucking pisses you off.
popular theory about Riley. Popular? What, on Reddit? From like 100 weird gender weirdos? But it's one that Disney will
By the way, he still postures that he's not transphobic. But yeah, you know, gender weirdos.
likely never confirm.
But by the way, quartering, we have genders too. I'm a man. I assume you're a man too. We got genders. We're gendered.
Continuing the story from the first movie, Inside Out 2 will involve
I kind of like gender weirdo. It's a term of endearment. Yeah, that's actually true. It's not the worst slur they've ever thrown.
Riley turning 13. Oh, okay, they're 13 now in the trailer, or in the second one.
Sorry, does that make it okay, or 13-year-old non-binary people don't exist either? So what, you got to turn 18? The 18, at which point, yes, then it's okay for you to be non-binary openly.
Turning 13 and coping with new complex emotions as a teenager. The first trailer for the upcoming Inside Out sequel only hints at most of the new emotions rather than showing them.
Gender weirdos.
Yet joy and other returning characters inside Riley's head do meet.
Imagine if leftists got upset every time there was a single cis straight white man in something. Well, we would never have a day of rest, would we? We would never get to sleep. Like, it's just, that's like, what, 95% of all media? You know, it would just be like, hey, a new movie's come out. Cool. Yeah, it's featuring a white dude as a space ninja with an electric sword. It's a samurai in space. It's really neat. And then they have wars amongst the stars. You're going to enjoy it. And be like, ah, cool. Oh, wait, they're white? Yes, white and cis. Yes. And then the person who trains him is white and cis. And the villain is also white and cis. And then they have to battle an army. And then the army and the other heroes and the other characters and the princess and most of everyone except for the aliens and then Lando Calrissian, they're mostly white. Yeah, it's mostly just all white cast, which is wild, you know, because it's supposed to be in the science fiction world in which all things are possible, but it turns out it's kind of just like a series of ethno-state planets where almost every single person is white. It gets a little better in the later ones for some reason or another. You might just notice more of them on screen. Can't explain why, but either way, enjoy it. Have a war amongst the stars, you know.
Anxiety. Yeah, anxiety is something a lot of 12-year-olds suffer from. A character.
Yes, it is. Actually, yeah.
Whose design supports a popular Inside Out theory. Based on a theory, quote unquote, after the first Inside Out was released, Riley is either trans or gender.
The actor who plays Darth Vader is black. Yes, James Earl Jones, the Incredible, but not the actor who plays when you see the mask off moment.
If you're still paying for Disney Plus, if you're still, involving yourself with Disney, this is what they do. This is, they'll do it with plausible deniability, and all the people that they want to know, and they clearly do, and they're celebrating it. And all the young, impressionable kids that watch this kids movie will get the message.
Oof, wow. So what exactly is the message here? That trans people exist? That non-binary people exist? Because again, you'd only see this as a problem if you hate trans people. because otherwise it's just representation. That's all it is. And yeah, trans kids and non-binary kids exist. It's nice that they can have a movie in which they see themselves represented in a positive light. That can have a positive effect on their life experience, their lived experience. That's a nice thing. And no, it's not true. You can't turn the kids gay. You can't do that. There's no magic spell to do it. Conversion therapists have been trying to do the opposite of that for a long time to horrifying effects. Turns out you can't do it. You can't de-gay kids, and you can't create gay kids in both directions.
Pixar has confirmed fan theories pertaining to their animated movies, even writing the theories into the sequel movies and short films. Unfortunately, there's all...
Thank you, Catalina Gearbox, for the 100 biddies.
Unfortunately. Again, Screen Rant is... they said it's unfortunate that this 11-year-old or 12-year-old or whatever isn't going to be confirmed as trans or non-binary. Unfortunately, there's no chance, almost no...
I'd like to think whoever turned me gay, well, I mean, what were you watching? He-Man? That made a lot of people gay, you know? It made me a teeny bit bi, that He-Man show. It's just a wild cartoon. It's very dangerous.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free. Just like the podcast.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This show is produced by amazing people like you, and if you want to help us out, please consider donating over at patreon.com/theserfs. The show is made possible thanks to Amazing Fletch, Anna Loves Riley, Ariane McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Doug Cady, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Laminia Panza, Matthew Scarborough, Multimondi, Omni, Peanut Butter Blondie, Political Pappy, Quiet 185, Rachel K, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Ruby K, Sir Nickus, Spinach Monster, Stellar Vision, Sebastian Demo, Tech Tink, Trevbot EXE, Words Greenwood, and not to mention all of the amazing and fabulous people you now see before you.